Hello.
Meow. Hello. Welcome, guys, to Mapper's Choice 2023 for Mania.
Alrighty, so it looks like we're going to be starting with our most influential categories. Did you get that? Okay.
Randomie is one of our Mania NATs.
Yeah, so Randomie has achieved third place in most influential categories, and probably for good reason. He's involved in a lot of areas within the Mania community and Mania spheres. So he's present in 4-digit Mania World Cup. He's responsible for writing a lot of the Mania-related posts that you often see on the front page. As Hug mentioned, he's also one of the Mania Nats. He's one of the more vocal ones.
The Mapset verifier, which I'm pretty sure almost all BNs use as a tool. Randomie is responsible for writing the Mania plugin for it.
Yeah, although that was towards like the latter end of 2022 and into 2023. He still does do some maintenance for it, I think, but not to the same extent as in previous years.
Regardless, very helpful tool.
Oh, apparently we're saying Randomie's name wrong.
Oh. My bad. Our bad.
Yeah, as mentioned, he's basically like a friendly face that you can find anywhere in the community. If you ever have any questions or concerns, his DMs are always open. Yeah, he's helped a lot of new mappers, especially getting their first maps into ranked, especially as BN. And he has been a long-standing BN, I think, for about, is it 2 years now?
A while.
Yeah. Also part of Project Loved, I think, doing metadata. And last year, I believe he did a couple rounds of Mania mentorship.
A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that, I guess, if you're a regular player of the game, you wouldn't really notice.
Yeah, he did take a brief break last year from like around March to, I believe, around July or August. So the fact that he still made top 3. Oh, okay, we're on to Mint.
Yeah, up next, second place Mint. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of Mint. She is very active as a 4Key Mania World Cup organizer and custom mapper. In fact, she's responsible for hosting the Grand Finals tiebreaker, which was actually a huge collab between a bunch of different people. But very active, very influential in Mania World Cup.
Yeah, especially in tournament. Like, she's very big in the tournament scene too. Most people will probably know her from her efforts in organization of 4K MWC. but she also helps in a variety of other tournaments, including 4-digit Mania World Cup, and then other tournaments that I don't recall off the top of my head, but I think she does do a lot of work in there.
There is also a Tourney Central Discord server that she helps organize, maintaining basically records of past tournaments, and basically it's the platform for tournaments to essentially be advertised, recruit for staff. So just a very useful resource provider in a tournament scene as well.
Yeah, her influence and her contributions, definitely you can see she's incredibly influential just with the number of first place choices that she got in voting, along with a high number of second and third place choices as well. Yeah. So then I guess for our first place category, in most influential, we have Maxis. So I feel like this doesn't necessarily come as a surprise to a lot of people. Maxis is also another big player within the Mania community. He's also one of those faces that you just see around in pretty much every area of the game. He's in Loved, he does metadata checking in Loved, also part of Spotlights, and he does a lot of work in Spotlights too, a lot of discussion happening in there. Yeah, and he's also just very active behind the scenes in that and other like mapping and cutting affairs too. He's also a charter for 7K MWC, I believe, and so you might have seen some of his maps around there.
Maxis just a few days ago actually hit the 200 nominations mark and got the badge for it. I was very impressed. Sometimes when BNing with him on a map, he'd get to it immediately. It's just really nice to work with him as a second BN.
Yeah, and I'd also say like one of his larger accomplishments or more influential accomplishments, as we're on the category, would probably be helping to push the rankability of 10K plus key modes in Mania during the summer of last year.
Ooh, yeah.
A lot of that wouldn't have happened without his help behind the scenes and discussing, getting permission from Peppy, getting his blessing and all of that to push those test maps forward and make it into a rankable mode.
I am forever indebted to Big Maxis.
Yeah, so Maxis, he's definitely earned the first place for most influential.
He demolished the votings too.
Yeah, 28 first choices. He is always Big Maxis is always number one in our hearts.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think moving on from most influential is our next category of outstanding contributor. And you probably won't be surprised to see that Random Me is in third place. Or, well, he's in the top 3, I mean. So as we kind of mentioned when we were discussing about, most influential, Random Me is kind of everywhere in the community. He has his fingers dipped into a lot of different projects. And as we mentioned, the Mania Mapset Verifier plugin that he co-wrote with Comarin, or I think her name is Quinla, how to pronounce it. That's a thing that a lot of VMs make good use of.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, there's so much that he does, it's hard to wrap my mind around everything. As I was mentioning earlier, he did take a small break last year, so the fact that he still has all of these first place votes, all these second to third place votes, despite that around 6-month-ish break, is quite impressive. It just goes to show how far his reach goes and his contributions, that even though being active only about half of the year last year, he has made it to this point. Well, if there is nothing else to say, I think we can go on to the next one.
Yeah, we
In
can
our
move
number 2
on.
place,
G-
GZ Dongsheng.
GZ is also one of our Mania NATs, and a big pusher of high SR maps in the ranked section.
Yeah, so GZ did push a lot of high SR 4K maps in the past year, and with those maps, he ensures a really high level of quality. I think, people are, if you ever check like any of the beat map discussion threads for those high SR maps that he's pushing in 4K specifically, and also in other key modes, he's very versatile. You'll see that he does a very thorough job of modding. So not only is he pushing a high quantity of maps, he is also ensuring a good quality from all of them. And a lot of that helps to shape what the current high SR 4K scene is looking like now.
So with that, I think moving on to number 1, we see another repeat name.
So our outstanding contributors for this year were all Mania Nat, and it kind of shows because in order to be Nat, you have to have like a strong community presence, and also just being a positive figure in the community, which Randomie Dongsheng and Maxis all are. As you can see, Maxis has kind of blown the competition out of the water with 31 first place choices.
Oh yeah,
which is leagues above the other two. As I mentioned in Influential, he definitely earns it. So I mentioned the 10k plus key modes being rankable. That was like a big part of Maxis' doing. But on top of that, also just like a bunch of other miscellaneous RC fixes and such also are pushed by Maxis. If you have any questions or concerns or any in your beatmap discussions, Maxis is always there to help when needed.
Yeah, a lot of contributions, it seems. A lot of the big contributions that we saw from Maxis and Randomie are behind the scenes stuff, stuff that should be pointed out in an award stream like this. Otherwise, people would just sort of be oblivious to it unless they're also involved to that level.
Yeah, congratulations to Maxis for winning first place, outstanding contributor. Definitely well deserved. And I am looking forward to seeing what he does this year too, because he's definitely started out 2024 strong as well.
Oh yeah.
He shows like zero signs of slowing down, and it's quite interesting too because he's been going since like 2022 and he hasn't slowed down whatsoever. He's still pushing out the same quality of nominations. He's still, very active. He's maintained much of the same level of high activity. So yeah.
Godspeed to Maxis for hitting the 400 nominations badge.
Yeah, congratulations to Maxis. I think that can bring us to our next category, which is most promising. So in number 3, in third place, we have Biosphere. So this is a name that I wasn't all too familiar with. I initially saw the results, but I hear that he is quite a well-known name in the Stepmania/Eterna community. And for those who don't know, the most promising category is for mappers who rank their first map in 2023. So Biosphere has immediately come out with a banger of a map, and starting in February, he's managed to rank 5 maps this year alone.
I believe the sort of style we can expect from Eterna is a lot of rice, like technical stuff, stream stuff, dump stuff. So just bring over some of the Eterna Step Mania style over to Osu Mania.
Yeah, and he seems heavily inspired by a lot of older era Stepmania / Eterna mappers. So like some old names such as Fullerene, which he hasn't been in the community for a while, but taken inspiration from him. Possibly April, or you guys may know her as Shoegazer.
But yeah, with that,
a bunch of bangers.
On to second place. We have Polarin.
Yep, so Polarin is also a more typical Stepmania / Eterna type charter, although it seems that it takes inspiration from some newer era Eterna charts. So style's a little bit different from Biosphere as we just saw. I personally know Polarin a lot from the Akiri Project server, which was a server that he had helped start in order to try and get more of Akiri's maps ranked, songs ranked, to get her noticed to become an FA.
Oh yeah.
So that takes a lot of organizational skill and a lot of organizational time too. Like that server, I think it's still going pretty strong, and he kind of single-handedly managed a lot of that.
We see more of the rice-oriented styles of Eterna migrating to Osu this year with Polarin and Biosphere.
Yeah, I think Polarin is also involved in a couple mapping tournaments too as a mapper, because his style is very good for tournament style mapping, a lot of tech, rice tech specifically. So with that, I think we can go up to our #1 spot for most promising. And if you had tuned in earlier to see the storyboard stream, you might have noticed that Disguise's map, I think this is Sunny Rhapsody? Yeah, Sunny Boy Rhapsody. Had won one of the storyboard categories. I don't remember exactly which one, but he's back for Mania.
I believe Disguise won most, if I remember correctly, he won most promising for storyboarding as well.
Oh, yeah, so he's just bringing in the double whammy of most promising.
Yeah, Disguise certainly hit the ground running in 2023 with 10 total ranked maps and 3 already that came out in 2024, so keeping up a really strong pace.
Yeah, having nominated a couple of his maps, I can say that I really love the style. It's amazing 4K rice tech. And like, it's quite complex, but it's very well structured and it makes a lot of sense even at a glance, which sometimes can be a bit hard for tech. Can look messy at the start. I know like his Summer Sick map is amazing as like his second ranked map, just because it's like a combination of a bunch of really weird snaps, like 124th, 148th. And he managed to not make it a painful map to check for his nominators.
He manages to put some order in the chaos.
Yeah, there's definitely order in the chaos. He knows quite well what he's doing, which I think is really impressive, because tech mapping is not exactly the easiest style to pull off.
Oh yeah, congratulations to Disguise for plucking out first place here. We hope to see some good things in 2024 as well, and I do not doubt we'll see that, seeing as they're still pumping out ranked maps.
Yep, this guy also shows no signs of slowing down, so looking forward to see what he'll be pushing out in 2024. And with that, we can move on to our next category, which is Best Modder. In our #2 place, I think this, either we have a tie or this is a bit of a typo, but we have Maxus. Once again.
Again, the third award that Maxus has taken so far.
So we're going through 4 categories so far. Maxis has taken 3 of them, and he can't take most promising because he has maps ranked from like 2016. But yeah, I think Hugden mentioned it earlier, but Maxis as a modder is very thorough, and also he's very responsive and very quick.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
So Maxis, as in addition to being involved in changing in basically introducing the rankability of 12 key and above, he was also very helpful in actually ranking such maps. Because I'm personally responsible for ranking some of those maps, Maxis is usually my go-to second BN to be like, hey, you want to take this? And he's like, yeah, I'll take it. And then the next day, the map's already modded, ready to go. Very, very nice to work with.
Yeah, also just super thorough. He pushes a lot of high SR, like 7K maps specifically, and even though, you know, his playing skill's pretty good, it's not like the highest tier though, he is really diligent about getting lots of test plays to ensure that the maps that he's nominating are playable and play well and are very fun. So he does a very thorough and diligent job. Congratulations to Maxis for 3rd place on Best Water.
So right. Moving on.
Yep. Moving on to 2nd place, the real 2nd place. We have Monosoul. So in the BNG, we might know him as the person who started the Hit Sound Diff nomination curse. But yeah, Mono, he joined BN in late February of last year, and since then he's just been popping off. He originally started off as like a 4K only BN, and then he started dabbling his toes into other key modes, and he's also just like been touching a lot of 7K and getting into playing 7K, and so he's quite diligent in that he wants to learn other key modes and get better at them playing wise so he can be a better judge of them modding wise, and I think that's quite admirable.
You might also notice if you're a mapper, modder, or a fellow BN, Monosoul is quite active in quality assurance.
Yeah, you'll often see his name pop up in qualified maps, and he's just doing his best to ensure it's the highest ranked quality and that nothing weird slips through to the rank section.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of that, on top of like his QA activity, he has just a lot of activity and like nomination activity too. I think last year he ended up with like 70 plus nominations, and again, he had started in late February, so rather than having like the full 12 months of nomination history, he only had about 10 months, so quite impressive. And some of the sets that he checked too were not like short, simple sets. Like I think he nominated like a 30-minute marathon last year as well.
Impressive.
Yeah, definitely, like he takes a variety of maps, so congratulations to Monosoul.
And now to 1st place. We have another repeat name. So, GZ Dongcheng. In terms of modding, NAT and NATs are also BNs. GZ pushes a lot of high star rating maps into the ranked section. With consistent high quality modding, the throughput is there. Just the fact that he can polish up a lot of high SR stuff, which isn't always very easy to mod through. The denser you get, you gotta start making sacrifices and choices in terms of structure and layering representation. Makes it more difficult to mod. The GZ pushes through that and just gives us high SR content.
Yeah, as I had mentioned earlier, again, he does push a lot of high SR maps, but he doesn't just push them like willy-nilly. He ensures there's like a very high level of quality to all of them before pushing them forward, and you can see that in how detailed his mods are when you just check any map discussion thread in which he was a part of. So, similar to Monosoul too, he also has like a very, very high activity, and if you consider the fact that he's Nat, so he also has valuations and other responsibilities within the game that isn't just nominating maps, the fact that he's able to keep up this level of activity is quite impressive.
So congratulations GZ for taking 1st place for the best modder category.
Yeah, and even this year, you can see he's still pushing a lot of the, still pushing a lot of high SR maps too. So just like the others in this category, shows no signs of slowing down. Still going strong.
So moving on to our next category then. We have our best anti-meta mappers. I believe this might also be a typo. BK Wind is
Oh,
taking...
this is a two-way tie.
Oh, it's a okay, my bad. So
it's a
BK
tie with
Wind
next.
Right. BK Wind tied for second place. BK Wind is just very impressive in a variety of anti-meta aspects. Most might know him for his 6-key maps, in which he has a couple of high SR spreads, marathons rather, my bad. BK Wind also currently holds the record for highest SR ranked 10-key map, which was also a giga spread. So that was just a big chunk of content for the 10-key community in one map.
I know also, once 10k plus key modes became rankable, BK Wind also just started making a handful of, I think it was, is it 14k or 16k DP maps?
16k. BK Wind is a good BMS DP style player, and has started pushing BMS style DP maps. One of them is in qualified right now actually, and I expect to see more of that in 2024.
Yeah,
so it's a very versatile anti-meta community member.
Yeah, it's really cool to see just how diverse BK Wind's mapping style can be, whether it's you're playing one of his 6k maps or if you're playing one of his 16k DP maps. It just shows that he's really impressive with his ability to map any variety of key modes.
So then moving on to
our other second place, we have MJH. He is my 5k mapping idol. I respect his opinion greatly, and I kind of idolize him a lot, just because he is like the 5k elder. But yeah, MJH, he has been a very consistent mapper for many years now in pushing 5k maps. And he's also like not just limited to 5k. He's able to map other key modes, but 5k is his primary key mode. He also does make like some really big spreads. A lot of he just works really hard to make 5k accessible to the community, because the 5k community is rather spread out and like not centralized. But if anyone is ever looking for 5k map suggestions, you can always just go to MJH's profile, and all of his favorited maps are just different kinds of 5k maps that you can check out.
The resource collector.
Yeah, he is a resource collector.
But with that, we're moving on now to the first place prize for best anti-meta, which is yours truly.
Yeah, so
I'll let Proc commentate about me.
No, I think it's funny if you commentate yourself. Yeah, Huck he kind of came out of nowhere, I think, at least in my experience. I hadn't heard of him until he became a BN in like June of last year. And then he became BN, and immediately like 10k just exploded in the number of ranked maps that were getting pushed to qualified every week. So I think we can thank Hug a lot for the variety of 10k maps that have been pushed, and then since 10k plus has become rankable, you can also thank him for a lot of the 12k, 14k, 16k, and 18k maps that you're also seeing him in. I think he basically has a hand in every single one of those maps. I'm like trying to think of a single map that he hasn't nominated that is 10k plus, and like nothing comes to mind. But yeah, really great mapper.
Congratulations, Hugged. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, very well deserved, and I'm very excited to see what exactly you're going to be pushing this year. Because it's not like the maps that Hug pushes are not just like very short, simple, cute ones. Like they are either like big boss maps for 10k, or they're just like spreads that aim to make 10k and 10k plus more accessible to others. So he is a big paragon of that community.
Oh yeah.
The reward is definitely well deserved. So congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
And
So
yeah,
we
with
should,
that, we'll move on to best 7K mapper.
yeah. Blanco is a name nobody doesn't know. Very Blanco, everybody knows Blanco has like big giga spreads, always pushing out very high SR mapping.
Yeah, you might know Blanco for his, well, he's been consistently pushing out like huge Gunga spreads for as long as I've known him. I remember Happy End of the World being his very first ranked map, and that is a 4K through 9K spread of a 6-minute song, I think.
And it's a full spread for each key mode.
Yeah. So he's no novice to big long giga spreads, and it still shows because I think last year he had ranked Eagle Seeker, the full version of that, which is like 5+ minutes long, and that was also a huge 7K spread.
Yeah, going up into the really high star ratings where the difficulty icon is just black.
Yeah, and it's really cool because Blanco is also a very good player. He is our Blanco ET. So you know that with his maps, there's gonna be a high level of quality involved because he test plays his map very thoroughly, and he's also just a very knowledgeable mapper. You know, he was QAT for 2 years back in like the 2016, 2017ish era, so he is no novice to the ranked scene.
With that, moving on
To our second, third place. We did have a 2-way tie. We have Stan. So Stan is also a bit of an older name, but he has been quite active in recent years. He was Nat for a good majority of 2023 and also 2022. And there he's just our friendly neighborhood. He's quite involved in MWC 7K or 7K MWC map pooling as well. You see a lot of maps coming out from him. Hug, is there anything that you have to say about Stan?
I mean, not for admittedly, I'm not too knowledgeable about Stan. He does have a very giga spread of They Are Many Colors ranked.
Yeah, Stan's maps are just very fun to play. I remember playing Random in, I don't remember if Random was a 2022 or 2023 map, but that was like one of the very first maps I'd played by Stan, and it was honestly one of my favorite 7K maps to date. Yeah, he's a very friendly community figure. You know, he's a bit on the quieter side, but he's very active. He's a very thorough modder, and an amazing 7K mapper. So, yeah, congratulations to Stan for third place. Moving on, though, we are going to second place, who is Turks.
Turks, one of the top players of OSU Mania. Y'all know Turks for a lot of just really hard. I think typically marathons Turks is responsible for. Both 6 key and 7 key, but this is the 7 key category. So to focus on 7 key, a lot of long note stuff, a lot of hybrid. Turks is another one of those mappers who I think just does a good job of putting order into chaos in terms of just mapping.
Yeah, definitely. Turks is also a 7K MWC map player, I believe, and it's very valuable having him with his mapping ability and also his playing skill. Again, a big thing that you'll see with like 7K mappers is that they also tend to be like very good players, and that's how they're able to put order into the chaos that you see. That is all of these like LMs.
But yeah, congratulations Turks for second place, and moving on to our winner for this category.
We have Critical Star.
Oh yeah. Everybody should be familiar with Critical Star at this point, I believe. just another 7-key mapper known for big giga 7-key spreads with really high difficulties going into the black difficulty icon range.
And I had mentioned earlier that a big, like a common theme with a lot of 7K mappers is that they're also very good players. But Critical Star shows you that you don't have to be like top 10 in order to make an amazing 7K map.
For sure.
Yeah, it's quite wild to me how he's able to make such high SR maps that still play well with mostly theory alone. He gets lots of test plays, but, you know, to make a clean map from the start that just needs some polishing requires a lot of knowledge of just theory alone if you're unable to test play it yourself.
I think one of Critical Star's highlights for 2023 would be Eternity, with 3 difficulties above 9 stars. Just a lot of content for the top players out there.
Yeah, he's always churning out very high SR, but very difficult 7K maps. But he also includes large spreads that go all the way down to like easy difficulties, easy or beginner difficulties. So he's all about accessibility too. I'm happy to see Critical Star in first place, just because he is also a very pretty old mapper. He was very active in like the older eras, and so seeing him still active to this day in 2023, 2024, like, you know, almost a decade later, I guess, it's very impressive that he still maintains such a high quality and such a high output of high quality maps. So congratulations to Critical Star, definitely earned it. So we can move on to our next category, which is going to be Best 4K Mapper.
We have another repeat name coming up here. In 3rd place, we have Jizi Dongsheng.
Yeah, so Dongsheng released a couple of maps this year. Or I guess I should say last year.
2023. It still feels like 2023.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, Dongsheng has released quite a lot of maps in the past year. A lot of it is like high SR tech maps. A lot of it is also hybrid high SR tech maps. And he's also one of those people who is able, especially with 4K, you definitely need to know how to put order to chaos when it comes to such high densities, and he definitely does a good job of doing that. And I think that's also in part just because he is a really good 4K player.
Congratulations, Dongsheng, for taking 3rd place. Moving on to 2nd place now. We have another repeat name, Mint. Again, very well known for a lot of World Cup mapping. She is not only hosted and mapped part of Parallel Universe Shifter, the 4K Mania World Cup Grand Finals tiebreaker. She also has she has a catalog of some, I believe it was the Catch World Cup songs mapped into 4K and ranked. So again, the aura of tournaments is carrying over.
Yeah, I think Mint is one of those names where even if you're not that involved in like the mapping or modding spheres, you've heard of her. Her maps and her influences reach very far. Pretty much like her maps tend to be like in the top plays of any 4K player. And her maps are genuinely difficult. They're not a farm or anything, so passing them is truly a real challenge and a high accomplishment.
Oh yeah. Well-deserved placement. And with that, she'll move on to the 1st place prize for Best 4K Mapper, which goes to Siren.
Yeah,
Siren, I want to say Siren made a particularly big impact with End Time. It was a really popular long note map amongst the 4K player base.
Yeah, I think Siren also did a lot to revolutionize and normalize higher SR 4K maps, because the community has generally been kind of wary of high SR 4K maps, primarily just because a lot of it is like tends to be inflated with LNs and LN releases. But I think Saren has definitely helped in the last year or so to normalize having harder content in 4K rank. And inspiring other mappers to also make their own high difficulty, high SR 4K maps.
An important trailblazer, one might say.
Yeah. He's also inspired countless other mappers, I think. So he's a big influence in that aspect. His maps definitely are fairly difficult, but they're very clean. Yeah, so he's done a really good job of trying to revolutionize 4K mapping in the last year.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations to Siren for taking the first place prize.
And with being said, we can move on to our grand award categories. Oh, sorry.
Oopsie.
Spoilers. Yeah, so we'll actually be moving on to our map categories. Starting with Best 7K Hybrid.
All the grand awards will be saved for last. But 7K Hybrid, seeing Turks is certainly not... seeing a Turks map certainly is not surprising.
Yeah, as we've mentioned, Turks definitely normalizing high SR, high difficulty 7K map. Every map that he charts is basically a banger that is an incredible challenge to get through. With this map in particular, it is, as it says, it is 7K hybrid. But he does a good job of balancing the LNs and the rice to make it so that like your LNs aren't always just like blending in with the rest of the chart. Because I think that's something that a lot of 7K hybrid maps tend to struggle with, is having proper representation, not having like your LNs bleed into everything.
Uta in particular was a big deal when it first came out. It's a really long marathon. 9.5 stars. It's at the level where you will not see top players managing to pass it with double time. Which is to say, it is quite hard, and I think for 9.5 stars, certainly might be quite underrepresented compared to other high SR maps.
Yeah, Turks is great at making really difficult maps whose SR just does not reflect the difficulty whatsoever. So yeah, congratulations to Turks there on going on to number 2. We also have another Turks map.
I believe the difficulty name here is a reference to the half-life of a bismuth isotope.
We're putting science into our diff names now.
Which honestly, I notice is kind of common in very high SR techie maps.
Mm-hmm. Not only is it techie for the fingers, it's techie for the mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when Turks' Bismuth came out and got ranked, it was kind of a big deal in the community. It was, yeah, it's like one of those really high star rating, but still kind of underrated map, which Turks is amazing at putting out. It's definitely great at putting out very punishing maps for players. But once you pass it, it genuinely feels like a wonderful accomplishment to get through.
Oh yeah. But with that, now moving on to first place for the best 7K hybrid. We have, I've mentioned this earlier during the best 7K mappers category, Ev Eternity by Critical Star. Just a massive, just giga spread. I would call it Critical Star's highlight for 2023. Uh, Starts all the way down at the beginner level and moves all the way up into the black difficulty icons. So it's content for for everybody at every point in the skill spectrum.
Yeah, again, I'm really impressed with Critical Star because again, he's not like, you know, the most ultra ET7K players out there. So a lot of what he's mapping comes from a lot of theory and knowledge that he's just gained over the almost decade of experience that he has with mapping.
It certainly adds it adds another layer of impressiveness to be able to chart really well at such a high level when that level is sort of above your own playing level.
Yeah, he also has the benefit of just having very visually beautiful and clean looking maps too. A lot of like Ellen hybrid maps, the Ellens kind of will feel like they're all over the place even if they play well, but Critical Star manages to strike a really good balance in Everternity with making the Ellens both beautiful and pleasing to the eye while also being challenging but fun to play.
Congratulations to Critical Star for taking first place with Everternity here. And with that, we shall move on to the next category. Yeah.
So I don't think people are really surprised to see that Parallel Universe Shifter made it into the top 3 for 4K hybrids. And when this map came out, there was also I wouldn't call it an uproar. It was very well received by the community. It was very hyped. That's the word I'm looking for.
Oh yeah, hosted by Mint, but this map is a collaboration between a lot of different people that I can't remember off the top of my head. You'd have to go into the map's description. So we can say it was mapped by Mint et al.
Yeah, Mint, Coaf, Elixir, Guden, Myzeteron, Lemon Guy, and a couple other names. But yeah, definitely this was really hyped up because it was also the 4K Mania World Cup Grand Finals tiebreaker. So
this was also both the Community Choice and the Mapper's Choice winner, I believe, right?
I think it was Mapper's Choice?
Or
Mapper's Favorite, yeah, it was.
Mapper's Favorite, yeah, that one.
So it won both the
favorite this one.
of players and of mappers alike. So that just shows you that this is a really good map and really well executed. It was definitely like a boss map when it came out.
Oh yeah. Congratulations to Mint for, Mint et al. For taking third place in this category. And we shall move on to second.
In second place, we have Hall, mapped by Guden. This was another map for 4K MWC. This was a very clean map, and it's also it was also like quite popular when it came out. I remember during the showcase stream, a lot of people were losing their minds when it was announced.
Not to mention, this also is a collab by with Guden and Mint, the previous placements host. So again, we're seeing Mint's influence everywhere in the 4K tournament scene and in the ranked section.
Yeah, definitely. 4K MWC this year got a lot of people really hyped up for some of the maps that were sent. I know also, like, in this map in particular, there's like a section that has some really cool BPM changes that is basically like legal red grass because the BPM of the song itself is actually changing, and I think it's a very beautiful visual touch.
Red grass, I love that terminology.
Yeah. Definitely a really good map and a really banger song.
As is usually the case with Mania World Cup songs.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Of course, the MWC came out with a lot of banger songs that came out with associated banger charts.
Mm-hmm. Good play. Congratulations for Guden and Mint for taking second place here. And we shall move on to the winner of this category now.
Congratulations to Flevy, with Right of Ascendancy.
I was
So,
I was taking a look at Rite of Ascendancy in the editor. There was a very nice ambience storyboard here. I think you guys can tell slightly so far. There's a slight smoke effect. There's a lot of effort put into this. It's one of those, I want to say, um, what's the word? Not ambience, but it's a very atmospheric chart. They're really hard, dense sections, and they're very nice, relaxed break sections, to say. So it's more of a cinematic experience, I'd say. Something which is quite rare, um, and I think deserves to be recognized when content like that is made.
I might say something kind of dumb here, but it's kind of like taking a spiritual journey while playing a map.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like, oh, it's just a game, but honestly, like, this map, it kind of gives chills.
Hmm.
The contrast between, like, the really intense sections with the quieter and slower sections, um, that make it a journey to go through.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have time to see the full map play out because we do have a lot to get through. But congratulations to Flevy for this banger chart with this banger storyboard, and I believe the storyboard was created by,
I think Rice SS?
yeah, Rice SS. Just
Yeah,
want to
Rice?
give credit where it's due.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, moving on to the next category, we have 7K Rice. One of my personal favorite categories. We have Ricky Bobby by Guden. So Guden, you might know him as like primarily a 4K mapper, so I was honestly surprised to see a 7K map from him. But looking through it, it is honestly a and it's well done. I think, I was afraid at first that he'd fall into the trap of 4K, like trying to apply 4K mapping concepts to a 7K map, but no, he did a really good job of making a primarily rice-focused tech map here. I think it's also well supported by the song too.
my apologies. I'm not completely familiar with this map in particular, so I don't have much to add. But
Yeah.
congratulations to Guden for taking another placement and best 7 key Rice.
Yeah. Very good map overall, and honestly, I would look forward to seeing more 7K maps coming from Guden. I think there's definitely a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So moving on to second place, we see another repeat name come up. Speed Course Sonata by Critical Star is another Giga spread, starting at 1.28 stars for beginners, going all the way up to 7.87 stars, which you might think is a bit low compared to the other Ebb Eternity, the other Critical Star map we saw. But do keep in mind, this is the Rice category, and Rice tends to get underrepresented. So don't let the relatively low SR fool you. It is difficult content.
It is 350 BPM death streams.
Oh yeah.
So definitely not easy by any means. As mentioned, this is a big spread. The lowest difficulty is like an easy, so Critical Star is always about that accessibility. I was honestly kind of blindsided to hear Moonlight Sonata remixed into a speedcore version. But it surprisingly works well, and Critical Star did a really good job of making a clean but difficult map. Because I can definitely see many ways in which you can go wrong at 350 BPM, but he's pulled it off.
It's hard to chart that high, trust me. I personally cap off at like 180. But yeah, congratulations to Critical Star for taking second place.
And now
we shall now see
first place. So I'm sure y'all are not surprised to see Turks again. This map was ranked in the very beginning of 2023, so it might have fallen from a lot of people's peripherals, but the fact that it still got first place by being ranked in the beginning of 2023 just goes to show how timeless this map is.
Oh yeah.
I think this might have been one of Turks' like first ranked maps, one of his earlier ranked maps.
Oh yeah, it was his first ranked map of 2023.
Yeah.
And I just want to highlight again, this goes up to 9 stars, and it's in the Rice category. So that is absolutely nothing to scoff at. This is content made for the top players of Mania.
Yeah, we had 350 BPM death streams, and here we've got 276 BPM core streams and core jack. So definitely not for the light of heart. Gotta warm up the fingers before you attempt it. But yeah, Turks did a really good job of capturing like the song's essence and the speed in a way that's very fun to play. That also feels very accomplishing to get through. It feels like a genuine achievement accomplished when you get through it.
Passing a hard Turks, passing a high level, let me say it this way, passing a Turks top difficulty is something to brag about.
Yeah, I also think like it just shows how versatile Turks is as a mapper, because you know he had wins in the 7K hybrid category and also in the, and you can see now he has a win in the 7K Rice category. So you know, no matter what style he's going for, you know that he'll be able to pull it off well.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations to Turks.
Now she'll move on
to 4K Rice. Alright, so congratulations to Elixir for 3rd place in 4K Rice. I believe this map was used in, oh yeah, it was used in 4K MWC semifinals. I think the upgrade of this, so not this exact BPM, but yeah, this is like a heavy jack map, I believe. Some element tech in it.
Admittedly, I'm not too familiar with this one, but I'm seeing a lot of Jack content, and again, the influence from Mania World Cup, just taking a huge spotlight in the ranked section this year.
It's definitely, I think a lot of it is because of like the Mania BNG's involvement with ranking MWC maps now. Before, it was kind of like if someone made an MWC map and they wanted to rank it, they could, but now it's like actively encouraged and pushed. People help to make the spreads to get it into ranked. So.
Congratulations, Elixir, for taking 3rd place in the category. And we shall move on to 2nd.
NeuroCloud 9. So I believe is Ska's first ranked map in Mania or in Oz. I think it might be. Oh no, it's his 3rd. But yeah, it was his first ranked map in 2023. So every time Ska comes out with a map, it is always very unique and unorthodox for the existing ranked 4K section. He's definitely a trailblazer in that sense. I believe for NeuroCloud 9 specifically, is it an all Rice map? Yeah, it's a primarily Rice map. I believe this map is severely underrated for its SR. So it's definitely one of those maps where passing it is a true accomplishment.
Very, very technical, lots of dumps.
Yeah, and it's also a collab between Scott and Evening. So Evening hasn't mapped too much as of late. So it's cool to see him show up as a collaborator in this.
Oh yeah, gotta make sure we give credit where it's due. We're talking about collabs, so sometimes they're easy to miss. But yeah, congratulations to Ska and Evening, the collabor, for taking 2nd place here.
Alright, well, moving on, we have 1st place for Best 4K Rice. And here we have a map from Biosphere. So if you remember, Biosphere, I believe, was 3rd place for Most Promising. So this was, I think, was this his first map ranked? Or no, it was the last map that he's ranked so far.
But to see a most promising award winner also take first place in a map category goes to show, I guess, just how promising the mapper is. So
Yeah.
I'm expecting. I guess we should expect to see a lot of more banger contents, a lot of well-received content from Biosphere in the future, based on the performance here.
Definitely. And Frums is also not an easy artist to map by any means.
Very technical. There are a lot of weird snaps sometimes.
A lot of weird snaps, a lot of funky BPM changes. It's hard to manage all of that in a single map set, but Biosphere's done a great job and of executing um, a very difficult tech map.
Mm. It's been mentioned a few times already, but Frums they're an artist where you gotta know how to put order in the chaos, and Biosphere does it quite well.
Yeah, you can definitely see some of those Stepmania/Eterna influences in Biosphere's mapping. A bit unorthodox and it's not every day that you see maps like this entering ring section.
Congratulations to Biosphere for taking first place here. Again, just introducing some of the Eterna Stepmania aura to Osumania, killing the fingers of Forky players.
Yeah, congrats to the Biosphere. I think moving on to our next category, we have Best 7K Long... Oh, Surf Chew. Surf Chew is very, very well known for his Ellen release maps. Ellen release is like a skill set in Mania that is just severely underrated. He'll have like extra level Ellen release maps that are just like 3 stars on the web.
Oh yeah, you might sometimes notice in 7K Mania World Cup, the long note map will be like 2 stars, 3 stars, and everyone sees the star rating, they scoff at it, like why is something so easy in the map pool? But then you play it, and you don't do very well.
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, these kinds of maps end up getting banned a lot.
Definitely. This is, to hammer my point home, the top diff is 2.7 stars. But looking at the scoreboard, the scores do not show that this is 2.7 stars.
Oh yeah.
Top score is a 960k. So yeah, Surfchew, really a master of Ellen release maps. He's a great Ellen mapper in general. And even his easier Ellen release content, the ones that are like 1 star, are still really difficult. But he makes Ellen release coordination maps for people of all skill levels, so I'm happy to see him in 3rd place, or see his map in 3rd place.
Congratulations to Surfchew. I believe we have a 2-way tie for 3rd place in this category.
Yes. The next map is Reality Distortion by ERA Akiri, also the newest featured artist. So this, I think, was Akiri's first ranked map in 2023, if I just double check.
Oh, I think we might be on the wrong map. Right now we're looking at No Name's Fallen Down.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, the overlay's back.
Technical difficulties. Don't mind it.
Yeah, okay, actually, Reality Distortion was not Akiri's first map, but Reality Distortion was the first map that Akiri was pushing for rank. She ended up getting like a couple other maps ranked first before then. But this one is definitely a map that she put a lot of effort into, and I know Mad Brick Tree had also done a lot to help her out with some of these LN patternings and releases. Yeah, it's honestly a really good 7K map for like one of her first 7K maps. Especially considering that it's like LN, which is not easy to map.
Oh yeah.
LN, I'd say, is one of the harder skill sets to pull off consistently and well.
One of the harder skill sets to both play and to map.
Mm-hmm.
But Era Akiri, She, some of you might be familiar, she recently got announced as a featured artist. So along with that, taking a placing in best 7 key long notes, storyboarded as well, I believe. Well, I don't believe storyboarded as well. She's certainly putting in a lot of effort and making herself known for her efforts. So congratulations to Akiri.
Yeah, congrats. Alright, so moving on to next map. We have Fallen Down, hosted by No Name.
Another low density, release heavy map. Similar in concept to Surf Shoes that we saw earlier.
Yeah, for reference, this top diff is 3 stars on web. I know SR is not everything, but I always love to compare the web SR of LN release maps and then just look at their actual difficulty, which is just, there's such a huge mismatch.
Yeah, it's fun to point at how broken SR can be sometimes for Mania.
Yeah, I think this would be one of those maps where it'd be funny to throw into a multi and have everyone be like, oh, this is so easy, why are you putting on 3-star maps? And then just watch people struggle.
Everybody but the one LN main struggles really hard.
Yeah, so congratulations to, well, I guess this is Maple's diff, but, you know, congratulations to Maple and No Name for hosting it.
Mm-hmm.
Short but sweet LN release set.
So moving on to our first place winner for this category. We have, I can't trust myself to pronounce this correctly.
I am just gonna full send. Gewa?
Gewa. Let's go with that.
And y'all can laugh at us later.
Hosted by Zenonia, which I don't think we have seen this name pop up yet.
Zenonia has ranked 1 map before in 2022, so he's not a very frequent member. So it's interesting to see him take the first place spot. It's like the underdog of the LN category.
Oh yeah. So we have a lot of complicated release stuff here. Stuff that requires a good amount of finger independence and really high density stuff. So it's just a very challenging map, looks like, overall.
Yeah, high density.
Mini jacks into shields, all of the scary stuff that you might expect maybe from like a hard O2 Jam map.
Oh, definitely. I know a lot of South Korean mappers tend to take inspiration from DMS and O2 Jam. So definitely some of these releases are reminiscent of O2 Jam releases, and I think that's honestly great because I feel like O2 Jam style of mapping has been demonized for quite a long time. So seeing it make its way into ranked and be more accepted and well received, as shown by this being in first place, I think is a good sign.
Of course. Congratulations to Zenonia for taking first place in the category.
Yeah, on to our next category. We have Best 4K Long Notes. So we got Siren map.
Another a repeat name. The 4-key system error by Siren. I guess sort of a sequel to the 7-key one we saw in 2022. Certainly well received, seeing as it found itself a placement in 4-key long notes.
Yeah, as mentioned, Siren has unleashed a lot of bangers into the Mania 4K ranked scene, and honestly helped to revolutionize and normalize some of these map types getting accepted and ranked more frequently. Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in this map. It's definitely some tricky releases. It is by no means easy. I think System Error is also there were a lot of people who mapped System Error. And I
Popular
think
song too, Matt.
yeah, it's one of those maps that I think, or one of those songs that I think is also a little bit difficult to pull off well. But Saren's doing a great job with it. Yeah, some of those anchors.
Difficult, challenging.
Very challenging, but it's also easy to see how intentional and what his purpose is. So I think with Saren's mapping, it's very clean and clear with what exactly he's going for.
And congratulations, Siren, for 3rd place. We shall take a look at 2nd place now.
So we have another mint map. Weenie Walker.
Silly name.
Yeah, I think Mint is also one of those very versatile mappers. She's basically like your jack of all trades 4K mapper. She can do text, she can do LN, she can do rice. Give her a skill set and she can do it.
Oh yeah, we're seeing shields, lots of full long note patterns here.
Yeah, I do also want to comment, like, the circle count on this is very low. It's 238 circles to 3,000 sliders. And honestly, trying to pull off maps with, like, such a low rice to LN ratio is often very difficult. So, if he's making it into 2nd place with such a low ratio is quite impressive.
Congratulations, Mint, for 2nd place. Let's take a look at 1st place now. So, I don't think seeing End Time take a 1st place prize is a surprise. End Time was received very well by the 4K community. Again, it's one of those maps that was sort of trailblazing the normalization of hard long note content for 4K. So not only is the map popular, it's had this map in particular was very influential for the overall, I guess, content of the ranked section as well.
Yeah, I do just want to make a clarification. End Time was not necessarily received with 100% positivity. It was a bit controversial at the time. So despite its controversy, seeing it make its way into 1st place for 4K LN just goes to show how it's kind of grown on people.
Oh yeah.
This was ranked at the very start of 2023. Before Saren had really set that expectation, before Saren had really set that expectation of like normalizing for like high SR LN content in 4K. So this was kind of like the trailblazer map of its time.
It's had some time to age, so to speak, and it looks like it aged well.
Yeah, so definitely congratulations to Saren. It was a bit of a difficult road to get this map ranked at the time, but he did it, and you know it's deserving of its 1st place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can move on to our next category, which is Best Anti-Meta.
So we're seeing 6 key come up here. Fantasy Note by Yukari-sama. 6 key has been proliferating, at least from what I've seen as an anti-meta key mode. It's growing, which is nice to see. We have names like BK Win, Turks, and Yukari-sama behind some of these maps promoting 6 key.
Yeah, this is on the shorter end of maps, but it's just like a very nice and clean, simple map. It's not too difficult. It's like a casual, enjoyable experience for those who aren't looking to grind high scores, but are just looking to have a relaxing and peaceful time.
A win for the casual players, one might say.
A win for the casual players, indeed. Yeah, we have been seeing a lot of boss maps, so I think it's a nice change in pace to see a simpler map. In one of these categories. Yeah, congratulations to Yukari-sama.
Yep, and let's take a look at 2nd place. Another
So,
Turks map. We've seen Turks come up a couple of times now.
is
Uh,
anyone surprised though?
I don't think anybody is surprised. Uh,
Yeah, Turks is showcasing just how good he is and versatile at mapping, by not only taking a lot of prizes, top threes in the 7K categories, but also taking number two in the anti-meta category. So while we wait for the map to get to content, this map is more of a hybrid map. So it's also like a marathon.
yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes with the longer maps in these showcases. We don't really have enough time to get into the meat of each one, but we do see some of these patterns rolling in now.
Yeah, I think, oh, this was also made for the 6K. I forgot the full name of the tournament, but there was like a 6K tournament that was hosted by um, a lot of people from the 6K community earlier this year or earlier last year, like October or so.
Mhm.
I might be misremembering, but this was one of the maps for it. So I think it's a good map, yeah. It definitely hits up on a bunch of different skills and techniques. A lot of rice, but there's also a lot of LN, so kind of balancing like longer LN holds with such a dense is quite impressive.
Hard thing to pull off, but we can always trust Turks to do it. But congratulations, Turks, for the second place. Let's move on to see the winner of this category.
Ivy of Rude Isles by my 5K idol MJH.
We have a decently sized spread here, going all the way from beginner up to an expert plus level difficulty here. So certainly a nice chunk of content for the 5K community. This map was also featured as a beat map spotlight.
Yeah, as I had mentioned earlier for MJH under like anti-meta, he does prioritize and focus a lot on making big spreads that make 5K accessible to everyone. I really like Ivy of Root Tiles as it's primarily a tech map. There's definitely some tricky patterns here, and it's content that the 5K community doesn't really get a lot of. A lot of 5K maps tend to be more casual and geared towards beginners and such, so seeing harder level content like this in ranked it's a very nice change in pace. I am happy to see it and see more people get into the higher end of 5K mapping and playing. This map is also, I think, live timed. I might have to double check that. The BPM I don't think is very consistent, or it just hasn't.
I am seeing a lot of bar lines. So I don't know if those are the natural bar lines, or if those are individually placed. But live time maps are very difficult to pull off because they're also a pain to check for BNs.
Yeah, MJH is no novice to live timing though. There is no song that he cannot map. So congratulations to MJH. I'm really happy to see that he got first place for this.
Yep.
It's well deserved. So moving on to our next category, we have Best Spread.
Internet Yamero. This song was a what was it? This song went viral for a bit earlier in 2023, and I've seen a few maps for it come out. Flevy has hosted this one, taking third place.
Yeah, it's a 9-diff spread of a almost 4-minute song.
So that's a lot of drain time. That takes some dedication to map.
Definitely, and also like congrats to the nominators who had to check all of that. Dongsheng and Ming.
Again,
yeah,
as
a very clean spread too.
As is with big spreads, it's always nice because they provide a range of content for everybody across the skill spectrum.
Yeah, and I think the benefit of this is like it's also a very tight spread. So if like one difficulty you're just barely unable to pass, you can always go down one difficulty below, and it's almost just as challenging
Oh
and
yeah.
enjoyable to play.
Congratulations to Flevy for taking 3rd place here, and we shall move on to 2nd.
So I don't think
Now,
anyone's surprised to see that Blocko has made it into the top 3 categories for spread, as he, want to do every year.
I want to emphasize the amount of effort in this spread. It's 9 total difficulties with a... this song is 7 minutes. So, like, if you do the song, that's over an hour of drain time. All mapped by Blocko alone. So it's just insanely impressive to see.
Yeah, Blocko is like the solo 7K mapper. He churns out so many difficulties, so many maps, and with such consistently high quality each time. I know Eagle Seeker was definitely a banger when it came out, and a lot of people were hyped for it.
A little bit of lore behind this map in particular. I want to say a little over a year and a half ago, the US player Alter hosted a tournament, and a small community tournament for 7Key in the US. Blocko mapped this for the Grand Finals tiebreaker, and it was well received within the tournament. It was fun to watch. I believe there was a what's called the Pythagorean section with a lot of triangle visuals with the long notes. So Blocko decided to take it and make a full spread and just rank it. And now here we are, with a spotlight as well.
Yeah, congratulations to Blocko on number 2 for best spread.
Moving on.
So in first place we have Cortex Charger, hosted by Halogen. So for those of you who are newer to the community, I don't know how you guys recognize Halogen as a pretty good community figure, but he was quite active back in like 2016, 2017. So I was honestly surprised to see a map from him again, because I hadn't heard from him in a while. So I'm really excited to see this has gotten first place for that spread.
This is another one of those maps that was present in tournaments. This was present in the 4K Mania World Cup Grand Finals pool, I believe. And a full spread was created for it and pushed to rank. The spread, like the earlier one, is also quite tight, so if you're struggling a bit too much on one difficulty, you can just move one step down and it'll be more in the comfortable range.
Yeah, definitely. This was also a really hyped map when it was showcased during the MWC map pool showcase.
Congratulations, Halogen, for taking first place here.
So I guess next up, then, that gives us best hit sounding. I chuckled the first time I saw this. Congratulations to Firax for third place in best hit sounding. Yeah, this is just like, I think, okay, someone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong about the lore behind this, but I think Monosoul had memed having All I Want for Christmas Is You ranked for Christmas of, last year. And I think Firax said, I bet. And this is the product.
Firax brought the wintertime mall music playlist into the ranked section.
Yeah, we can now finally say that Mariah Carey has made her way into Mania Ranked. Yeah, this is not like a low-effort map set by any means, despite arising from a meme. It's well done. The key sounds are good. They fit. It's a very nice map. I like it. It's pleasant. It's pleasant on the ears. Yeah, I would suggest for all of these best hit sounding maps, I'd suggest, if you have some free time, just give the whole thing a listen to, because it's hard to capture just how good some of these key sounds are in like the minute, 2 minutes that we have per map.
Again, to give some credit where it's due, the key sounds for this, which I believe are bell key sounds, were done by Eucytism. So shout out to Eucytism for that.
Yeah, going into second place. Speak of the devil.
Speaking of the devil.
Yeah, we have Crazy.
This is
there you go.
I mentioned earlier the technical scientific difficulty names, which we're seeing recur here. Nitric oxide cardiovascular malfunction.
Yeah, all of the difficulty names have something to do with sort of chemical, so it's worth looking into that. But yeah, the key sounds here, I don't know if you said this is exciting. I apologize for butchering your name. I don't know if you've taken the key sounds directly from the game or something, but when I listen to it, the samples, they blend so well with the music and are so fitting. You can honestly just turn off the music and listen to the hit sounds. It's that good. I am a big fan of it.
Takes quite some effort to do. It's sort of reminiscent of playing BMS, actually, where every note has a key sound attributed to it, and if you can't play the map well, the feedback lets you know.
Yeah. Well, anyways, moving on to first place. I should have attempted to pronounce everyone's names before starting the comments. IGCCC. This map just has some really good and pretty piano key sounds. I think, like, for hit sounding, you don't have to get too complicated with it. Sometimes just adding some nice piano samples on top of like an existing song's layers to highlight that layer makes for a very beautiful soundscape. And I think this is one of those. I really enjoy the piano key sounds and how they add to the map as opposed to just covering the line.
Mm-hmm. Piano key sounding is quite a classic, I'd say, in the general field of key sounding.
Yep, and I really appreciate the fact that Mania is a key mode that allows like custom sample imports, because it definitely encourages people to key sound more often with how much easier it is compared to other game modes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can do some really beautiful things with that. Again, I really just love listening to the key sounds of this map and how they add like it's like an ethereal feel to the song. I just really like this.
Very atmospheric.
It's very atmospheric, yeah. So congratulations for first place. And we'll be moving on to best slider velocity now. So I thought this was funny.
I remember Rhythm Hell when it came out. Purely a memorization map. Very unorthodox to see in the rank section, but quite a treat when it does come out. The gameplay certainly is different compared to your typical maps, because it's a completely different skill set than normally playing the game.
Yeah, music majors will definitely have an advantage when playing this. Being able to read the music, the actual rhythm.
It was quite short. The gimmick with this map is the actual rhythm that you need to play pops up on I think it's a video, not in the map's video.
Yeah, it's a video.
So you gotta be, if you want to play it well, you gotta be able to read music, and you gotta play it looking at the actual musical notes rather than the map.
Yeah, that means it's time to start studying up on your music theory, friends. Yeah, congratulations to Ryax. This is a very cool gimmick, and I'd love to see more of this. I think next up, we also have a two-way tie for third place. Yeah, so this also tied for third. This is Winehouse mapped by Einer. I remember modding this map back in like May. It is a lot of SVs. I do like that the SVs here are just, there's no like gimmick per se, it just adds to the atmosphere of the song, being how glitchy and jumpy it is.
If y'all have worked with SVs, you'll know that there's a lot of math involved. And if you want to avoid making a memorization chart like Rhythm Hell, you gotta make sure that the average SV between every note averages out to 1. And the more complicated SVs you want to make, the more math you end up having to do, and it turns into a lot of effort. So.
And even more impressive with this is the fact that I had asked Under to make a proper SV spread, because originally I think this was only SVs in the top diff. For rankability's sake, SVs were added to the other lower diffs. So if you do want an SV experience but you're unable to play the top diff, you can go experience the hard diff.
Congratulations to Einer for tying third place. Let's move on to see what we have next.
Yeah, it looks like we have a two-way tie for first place too.
Ooh. So this map, I was looking at it earlier. It is quite short. A lot of very harsh teleporty effects. It turns the map more into, it's not quite memorization, but it's fun to watch. The SVs themselves also turn into a bit of a show.
Yeah, I do like how the strength of the SVs, they get stronger and stronger as you go further into like some of these bursts. So it's not just like a consistent type of SV. It does reflect like the intensity of the music.
I want to
some of those teleports.
Oh yeah, I want to comment. A thing rarely done with SVs that I think adds a lot of atmosphere is when you have no notes, but you just have the SVs bouncing the bar lines around to the music. There was a bit of that at the beginning of the map, but I always think that's a really cool addition to have.
Yep, SVs are definitely like the kind of map where you want to have a bar line skin on to see the interesting things that people will do with it.
Oh yeah, and got to see that effect just now. But congratulations to John Zero for tying first place.
Yep, and next up, the other first place that we have is also another map by Einer. So if you guys aren't aware, Einer maps a lot of SV. I think like almost all of his sets are exclusively SV sets. And as you can see from the fact that he tied for third place and also tied for first place, he's really good at what he does.
One might call him the gardener with how much grass he plants.
Yeah.
One particular aspect of the SVs of this map I noticed is on the teleports, there's a very subtle bounce, but it adds so much atmosphere to the actual visual effects. Like, teleports by themselves are cool, but it's just a lot more animated with that slight bounce. I don't know how really to describe it, but I really thought it was cool.
Congratulations to Einer for winning both third and first place.
Well deserved.
So our next category is going to be Best Marathon. And we had a lot of marathons this year. There we go. Yeah, so congratulations to Guden again for Hall. I think this is not the first category it's been...
Yeah, we've seen Hall come up.
Yeah, a couple times.
We saw it come up for Best 4-key Hybrid.
Yeah.
It was number 2, yeah.
But yeah, this is also just like a 6-minute long song, so it definitely falls under the marathon.
Oh yeah. Another one of the hyped Mania World Cup songs. A lot of positive reception. And again, with Mint as a collaborator.
Yeah, it's definitely a physically grueling 6 minutes because this song is just like all action and little rest.
Mm-hmm.
It is constantly go go go. Yeah, congratulations to Guden and Mint for getting 3rd place for Best Marathon.
Of course.
Moving on, we actually have a couple of ties for Best Marathon. We have a 3-way tie for 3rd place.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so we have Of Ambrosia, hosted by Mint. This set also does have a Blocko 7K GD, so there's something for both kinds of players. But this is also like another 6-minute grueling marathon that's just physically demanding of your endurance and your stamina.
Mm-hmm. Admittedly, I can't speak. I'm not too familiar with the 4-key difficulty here. I've played the 7-key difficulty, and I remember it was a big deal and very well received.
Yeah, definitely. This was made for 4K MWC round of 16 tiebreakers. So, yeah, Mint, when it comes to making tiebreakers for MWC, she does not hold back.
Oh yeah.
No holds barred. She always comes out with a banger. So congratulations to Mint on a 3-way tie of 3rd place for Best Marathon. Next up, the last of our 3-way tie is a map that we've already seen.
Oh yeah.
But this one is a bit on the shorter side. It is about 4 minutes 40 seconds of train time. But again, like a lot of these marathons, so with this map in particular, there are some quiet sections and some slow sections. So it's not so unlike the other 2 maps, where it's just constant activity, constant trains, whatever. This one kind of has its highs and lows for no density.
I want to say maps that sway back and forth in density. They're often very atmospheric, I want to say. During the break section, you take a bit to relax and sort of you get to take in the music more, and then the hard section comes up and it's back into action. So you're kind of on a roller coaster.
A roller coaster of emotions. Yeah, congratulations to Turks for 3rd place for that marathon. Yep. Moving on to our 2nd place, which is the true 2nd place. There's no ties there. We have another, I think we've also seen this map, but it's mapped by ZZ Dongsheng, Rokura. This one is a true marathon in the sense of it being 9 minutes and 51 seconds.
Basically 10 minutes, a lot of drain time.
Yeah. This is a collab with CRZ Hinako. See, the thing I noticed with a lot of collabs, and especially like for longer songs and marathons such as this, is cohesiveness between the two mappers. Because sometimes, like, certain maps that have collabs, you can kind of see the start point at which, like, it changes from one mapper to another. But I think with Dongsheng and with Hinako, they did an excellent job in this map of cohesively putting their parts together so that you can't really ever tell, you can't tell immediately, like, when it transitions from one mapper to another, because it's incredibly seamless.
Very well done.
Yeah, it fits together very well. So congratulations for 2nd place there.
Now moving on to our winner.
Yep, next up in 1st place, we have Rite of Ascendancy, hosted by Flubby. So this has a 4K diff, and it also has a 7K diff by Turks. It is also a 9-minute song.
Very long.
Yeah, we're definitely getting the true definition of a marathon here.
Yeah, as mentioned before, this is one of the maps that takes the player on a journey with the combined of like with the I guess with the compliments of the storyboard is especially during the more break sections, you really take in the atmosphere. Yeah, and quite a rare map type to in that regard, honestly, and I think it's very well deserving of high awards like this.
Yeah, congratulations to Flevy for finishing a very well done 9-minute long map.
Yep. Moving on.
I think we are going on to Grand Award users right now.
Yeah. We got 2 more categories left. Save the best for last.
Yeah, so for Grand Award, congratulations to GZ Dongsheng. You know, we've seen him in quite a lot of both user categories and map categories, and you know, as you all probably know by now, it's very well deserved from his multitude of achievements, just in the past year alone, but also like Dongsheng is I don't want to call him a newer name necessarily because he's been around since like early 2022. But he shows no signs of slowing down. He is constantly releasing 4K bangers and just keeping up with a really high level of yeah, sorry. Pushing high quality maps. Anything you'd like to say?
I don't want to be too repetitive from the last couple times we mentioned Dongsheng, but to me, what stood out particularly was the constant high quality modding on just high SR maps, as well as the fact that Dongsheng is in NAT. They have to deal with a lot of those affairs as well. So he's got a lot on his plate, and he's going full speed.
Yeah, congratulations to Dongsheng for 3rd place in Grand Award. Moving on, we've got a 2nd place user, which is Saren. So again, you know, at risk of repeating ourselves a bit, Saren has yeah, you'll notice that a lot of the people in the Grand Award category have also made appearances in other categories and have gotten the Grand Award. You know, you have to have made a difference to a lot of people. You have to have been quite notable in many areas, not just one specific area. So yeah, Saren, he's done a lot of like unofficial mentoring of other people too. I know a lot of 4K mappers can confidently say that they've taken inspiration from Saren. He's also mentored people in modding too. So he's definitely deserving of 2nd place Grand Award.
And again, of course, a trailblazer in high SR 4K mapping, sort of breaking the mold, changing people's opinions about what should be in ranked.
Yeah, congratulations to Saren on 2nd place for Grand Award. Moving on, we've got 1st place.
So Maxis, again, if you paid attention to the vote counts, completely blew everything out of the water again.
Yeah, 32 first choice votes. That basically just shows Maxis is everyone's first.
Big Maxis, as we say.
Big Maxis. Yeah, he deserves the Big Maxis title for a reason. He is everywhere. He's doing everything. He's in spotlights. He's in loved. He's Nat. But even as Nat, he does a lot of moderation too. So a lot of like GMT heavy work. You know, he's always in beat map discussions, helping to mediate anything or answer any questions that people have. Because again, there's a lot of sometimes confusing things when it comes to like beat map checking and all that. And he's just so knowledgeable about everything because he has many years of experience. He originally became Yen back in like late 2016. So yeah, he has been around for quite a while now, and he doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
So has his hands and feet dipped in every, in basically all the affairs throughout the Mania community.
Yeah, if you have a question about just about anything, you can ask Maxis, and he probably has an answer for you. And if he doesn't have an answer, he knows like a million people who have the answer. So congratulations to Maxis. Very well-deserved first place.
Extremely impressive performance throughout the year and everything.
Just first place by many, many votes.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations once again. We are going to move on to what?
Our final category, which is the Grand Award for Maps.
In third place, we've got Duplicity Shade. So this is a collab set.
I can't recall. Has Duplicity Shade come up in any of the map categories?
I think it did. I can't remember actually off the top of my head. I thought it did, but maybe not. Yeah, Duplicity Shade, it's a collab between Davi, Kawawa, Underjoy, Jinjin, Evening, and Jackads. This map was ranked in the first quarter of 2023. So again, like one thing that I think is interesting to note is that with MCA happening, at the beginning of the new year, a lot of those maps from earlier in the year kind of get overshadowed or forgotten about. So for a map from the beginning of 2023 to hit top 3 in any of these categories, I think is a bit more impressive than maps from later on in the year, because that means it was so notable that people have kept that in their mind like all year. They haven't forgotten about it. It hasn't gone to the back of their head. It's at the forefront of their mind enough that they would vote for it.
I know for a fact Duplicity Shade is a favorite of lots of high-level 7Q players. You'd be hard-pressed to not find it in a 7Q player's top plays.
Yeah, I think Duplicity Shade also started to pave the way for high SR 7K maps to be pushed. Because just like in 4K, where people were a bit more reluctant to push more difficult content, the same could be said in 7K as well. Duplicity Shade definitely made room for more difficult 7K content to enter the ranked section, so it was quite influential in that way.
Quite a lot of trailblazing in Mania in 2023.
Yeah, a lot happened in 2023. So congratulations to Underjoy et al. For winning Grand Award for Duplicity Shade. Moving on to second place, we have System Error. So we've seen this a couple times, I believe. I forget in which categories already. It's the grandma brain at work.
I honestly, Siren's popped up a handful of times right now. I can't remember either.
Yeah, so as we just mentioned, with Saren winning second place for Grand Award in the user category, he's also won second place for Grand Award in the map category. Yeah, System Error was ranked towards the latter half of 2023, so after he did a lot of that work in making difficult 4K content more normalized and accepted. But it just goes to show, he didn't slow down at all. He had a couple hiccups throughout 2023, but just goes to show he got over them, got over the obstacles, and he continued pushing out banger map.
Very impressive.
Yeah, congratulations to Saren on second place for Grand Award. So I'm sure everyone's excited to see what we're gonna get for first place.
I'm sure everyone has their bets placed.
Gonna see all of the money start changing hands. But yeah, for first place Grand Award we have Parallel Universe Shifter. One thing I want to make a note of is I don't think we've ever had a year where a map was simultaneously community choice, mapper's choice, and MCA Grand Award first place. I think this might be a first.
Just goes to show how much of a banger and hit it was.
Yeah, I've been around for a while, and I think this is definitely a first for a map to just universally win first place in a bunch of different categories.
Hosted by Mint et al., a long list of mappers in this map. And if you pay attention to the storyboard, you'll see who's responsible for which sections. Parallel Universe Shifter is not very forgiving. It is a grand finals tiebreaker after all. I was taking a look. They're really tight mini jacks, stuff I can't personally comprehend. Really food for the top 4 key players out there.
Yeah, and another thing, like with this many collaborators on a set, you know, as I mentioned, sometimes it's really difficult to have that clean transition between collabers, but this map does an amazing job of making the transitions very seamless. Like, if it weren't for the storyboard in the background telling me who's mapping who at what at any point, I would not know when it changes collaber to a different person. It is very well and seamlessly put together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely a map deserving of first place. Congratulations to Mint and everyone who contributed to Parallel Universe Shifter. Congrats on first place. Grand award.
Truly an insane contribution to the ranked section and to the tournament scene.
Yeah, I believe that is all of the Mania categories. I guess thanks for sticking around for nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm sure I have to use the bathroom.
I feel Mania actually has the most number of categories out of all the 4 game modes, just because we have a lot of those 7K, 4K splits.
Oh yeah.
So there was definitely a lot to go through. But thank you all for sticking around, and congratulations to everyone who won 3.
Yep.
With that, we'll be off. Thank you, everyone.